Hi there. My name is Naomi Allison. I will just quickly introduce myself. I am an engineering student living in London, UK, and the church has been part of my life for a very long time. My mother is a Methodist minister, and so I suppose I've been a Methodist since birth. This is going to be a workshop on making the most of websites and social media in the World Federation of Methodist and Uniting Church Women. So, on with the workshop. So, as you may or may not already know, the World Federation uses many online platforms. Not only do these include the website, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube, which are going to be the main focus of this presentation, but I know many people also use email and WhatsApp for communicating. The aim of this workshop is to look at what we already are using and why we're using it, what content should be added, and what can be done to improve those resources and make them more useful to everyone who is part of the Federation. This may be a little bit internet and technology based compared to maybe other workshops, but I feel these are really significant issues that we should discuss. Over the last couple of years, being able to communicate through the internet has become really important, more important than ever. And I feel that as a global federation, this is something we should work to improve, to allow better communication between each other, hence a stronger community and a stronger faith. So I'd like to start with the website. As you can see in this video, I'm just showing you. So this is what the website looks like. Hopefully many of you will be familiar with it. There's lots of posts, videos, pictures, and also there's a few things about the Sustainable Development Goals if you're interested in learning more about those. There's also regular updates from the President. And also we have news about with the history of the World Federation, the membership, all of the information that you may need. We've also got some pages about the different world areas. So there's not very much on there at the moment, but there may be in the future. And the President's page, as I've mentioned, and then access to lots and lots of publications on there. So the website is used a relative amount. There's loads and loads of information on there. Unfortunately, it's a little bit dated. It hasn't really been changed in quite a while, and it's not hugely user-friendly specifically on mobile devices. I know lots of people may have access to the internet through a phone rather than maybe a laptop. And so it would be really helpful for the website to be easier to access on a phone. There's some other updates that could happen. We're also hoping to improve the information provided in the world areas and the about, but otherwise that is the website. Hopefully some changes will happen relatively soon to make it a little bit easier to use, and fingers crossed, encourage everyone to use this really useful resource. So the next thing I wanted to touch upon is the Facebook page. This is the first of the social media sites that I'll be talking about. So we've had the Facebook page for quite a long time. It's got a relatively large following compared to some of our other social media sites, and is posted to quite regularly. We have lots of videos, posts, images, lots of things that are posted to the website and linked from the Facebook page to the website. So it's a really good way for people to access the website. If they're not aware or sure how to see something, then Facebook tends to have links to something they may be looking for, which is really helpful. Now, as far as improvements go, there could be more posts put more regularly, just so people can see what's happening more often. But otherwise, the Facebook page is doing quite well. I think that there's quite a lot of content, there's lots of engagement with it, and hopefully as we sort of post more, there'll be more interest, and also by extension more interest in the website, because lots of the Facebook page links back to the website, and things like the Sustainable Development Goals and other things that are posted about very regularly would improve. So as I've mentioned previously, we have a Twitter page, which at the moment doesn't have a huge following. There's not very much that happens on the Twitter page. I think we only have 103 followers. This is something that could be used a lot more. It's a really, really good resource, and we're not really making the most of it at the moment. We do tweet relatively often, but I think we could definitely do more and improve the resource and make sure that everybody is able to get the news from Twitter. Many people use Twitter, and perhaps not that many of you know that we have it or have access to it, but it's a really, really good resource that we could definitely improve upon. So lastly, I wanted to talk about the YouTube account. Now, we haven't had this a particularly long time, or we've had it quite a while, but it wasn't really in use. We started using it about a year ago, and the global online event from last year, 2021, was posted on here, or some of it was posted on here. So this is something we haven't used a huge amount, but we could definitely use more going forward. We could also incorporate YouTube into the other social media sites such as Facebook and Twitter, because we can post links to videos much more easily if they're on YouTube as well. So this will improve everybody's access to video content that the World Federation creates. So we can definitely use this more in the future, and hopefully lots of things will be added in 2022. So you might be thinking, if you don't use many of these platforms or you're not very familiar with them, why would we use them in the first place? There may be other things that you use that you find preferable, or you may not use any social media or have any connection with the website. But I just want to say a few things about why I feel social media and the website that we have go hand in hand with the World Federation. For starters, it allows those with access to the internet to stay up to date with all the World Federation news. It means it's much easier to access anything that's been happening through the different media channels. It also encourages social connection. So this is less about the website and more to do with the social media. For example, WhatsApp, Twitter, and Facebook are all direct messaging services, so you can talk to all of the people in your area or outside of your area as well. It just gives us the ability to have a much bigger community. Despite being sort of a global federation, we have access to each other much more easily. And finally, it really helps the World Federation promote worthwhile causes for important issues. So this last year, we've had the Sustainable Development Goals as regularly posted on the social media sites and the website. And that just allows the World Federation to share really important causes and things that really matter to many of you, and I think that's really important. And social media is a really great way to do this, and it reaches many more people. So that's just a few reasons we use these platforms. There are lots of others, but I think those are some key ones that are really important. So now I'm just going to go through some suggested improvements. These are just some ideas that we've already had and maybe that I've already discussed in the presentation that we could do that may change and improve the presence of the World Fed online. So a first suggestion would be changing and making updates to the website, which would make it more easy to use, so both on computers and on phones and tablets. And also we want to make it as relevant as possible to everybody who uses it, as well as making it easy to use. A second suggestion could be adding more information to the world area sections of the website and regularly posting news. This is just a way to keep sharing what the different world areas are doing at all times, and so we can sort of communicate with each other in that sense. And so improving that on the website would allow everyone to be able to see what we're all doing within the World Federation. Another improvement would be posting to the Twitter and Facebook feeds more often. So again, this ties into the regularly posting news, and so we would just post with more frequency and with more information. And finally, the continuation of the YouTube page, which will allow anyone to access video content. That was quite a new thing from last year that wasn't used very often, and hopefully this will continue and everyone will be able to access all of the video content that we have. Okay, so I'm going to end this workshop with some questions for discussion. First of all, what have your experiences been with the World Federation Online, whether that's globally or within your area, and whether it's through the website, email, or social media? Then, if you don't use these platforms discussed above, so Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, email, what, if any, online resources do you use? How do you communicate with people? How do you share news within the World Federation and your area? Then, do you feel more connected with members of the Federation across the world because of social media? Has it enriched your relationship and your faith? And if not, why not? And then finally, are there any changes that could be made which would improve your experience with the World Federation Online? What would you change if you could about the website and how we post to social media? Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy the rest of this global online event, and God bless.